Now we've come to the first episode of Series 1, Revenge of the Slitheen. This was the first story of the Sarah Jane Adventures I actually saw. I even saw this before Invasion of the Bane, but I'll get to that later. So what's the story? Maria Jackson and Luke Smith, Sarah Jane Smith's adoptive son, start a new year at a newly built school and meet a new boy named Clyde Langer. But it seems there is a bigger conspiracy of the school's building company, with a strange smell of batteries, food decays, and occasional farting from the staff. While Sarah Jane investigates the company, the kids are given a task to investigate the school, only to run into the Slitheen family, building a capacitor to store the Earth's energy for sales and also make the Earth pay for what happened to their family previously in Doctor Who. This episode introduces us to Clyde Langer, who becomes one of the series' most beloved and likable characters in all 5 seasons. He replaces Kelsey from Invasion of the Bane. I guess either her character was unpopular or the BBC weren't comfortable working with her. But either way, she couldn't make it into the first series, so they decided to replace her. And thank God they did. Clyde does have the cocky style like Kelsey did, but it's not that annoying. In fact, a good example is where he first sees Mr. Smith, which is a much improved introduction with a fanfare, lights and steam, and his reactions are priceless. Now that is how you should react to a super alien computer, not make jokes or anything like that. What can I say about Clyde Langer? But I'm pretty sure you're going to hear me say this over and over again as this series goes on, but Clyde Langer is a great character, and Daniel Anthony plays him brilliantly. If you want a friend to hang out with, Clyde Langer is the best buddy to hang out with. I would want a friend like Clyde Langer. I actually like how Clyde actually serves a purpose in this episode, figuring out how they could stop the Slitheen with vinegar. P.S. Clyde Langer facing an alien with deodorant. Now that's what I call badass. While I do enjoy Sarah Jane the Investigator, I do like the mother in training Sarah Jane Smith. From the previous episode, she doubts about how she can help the universe and doesn't agree with including children in her situations, whilst in this one, she's concerned about being a mother. And just like in Invasion of the Bane, she has a speech about her travels with the Doctor to Clyde Langer, once again introducing newcomers to the Doctor Who universe, as well as the Sarah Jane world. And it was that moment I literally felt emotional. Not just with the music, not just with Clyde's interests, but by how Elizabeth Sladen told it. If someone wanted to know anything about this show and wanted to know about the Doctor Who universe, I would show them this scene. Luke spends most of the episode trying to fit in and try to act like a normal human being, even though he countlessly answers questions like a Google computer. I do like his scenes with Clyde Langer. You can tell they are complete opposites, but they still hang around each other. Seriously, if anyone is lucky enough to have Clyde Langer as a friend, it's Luke. Since the show started, it had its series format, which is pretty much how the classic Doctor Who series used to do it. Have each story be separated into more than one episode. In some classics it was 4 episodes, whilst in Sarah Jane Adventures it has 2 episodes. Fans of the show point out that was the reason why they love the show. It has the same style of the classic Doctor Who than the actual Doctor Who. And yeah, that is true. I guess you could say these are like proper Doctor Who episodes, but I think it works more because it is given more time for the characters, the setting, the monsters, and everything really. This episode includes the Slitheen's debut in the Sarah Jane Adventures since their appearance in the BBC Doctor Who series, which actually works. I didn't mind them in Doctor Who, but I do admit their farting kind of felt a little awkward. But here, in a children's TV show, it works since some kids like fart jokes for some reason. However, I would like to see them return in the show sometime, even if it's a cameo. I wouldn't be surprised if Russell T Davies only made the Slitheen in Aliens of London just so he can put them in the Sarah Jane Adventures. But aside from the farting, they were still creepy. And the first time watching it, it was hard for me to trust anyone in the episode. Anyone could have been a Slitheen. I think it's nice to have a monster from a modern Who series to appear in a spin-off series to remind us and allow the viewers know that this is the same universe as Doctor Who. Although I will admit, apart from the occasional farting, the Slitheen in their human forms can be pretty awkward and melodramatic concerning the headmaster. But there are times in which the actors are actually having a lot of fun in this episode, especially when it comes to the night failure scene. And actually, I actually like those scenes. Sure, they're corny scenes, but watching them again, it's actually quite amusing. The design of the Slitheen has definitely improved since their appearance in Doctor Who. They're more greener, the skin compression has been properly wrapped around their neck rather than be attached to their chest. And while they still have their baby faces, they did give them sharp teeth. And I will admit, it is kind of funny to see a Slitheen running around the school corridor. We also see Maria's mother, Chrissy. She did actually appear in Invasion of the Bane, but there wasn't really anything to say about her. Whilst in this one, she's been trying to spend time with her family and doing some random business stuff at the same time. While I don't think she is the best mother on television, I do like the moments where, when there is a crisis, she immediately thinks it's the end of the world, and she does show how much she cares about her daughter. Plus, I do like how she occasionally calls Sarah Jane a different name. Guess one of the main problems with this episode would be the subplots, mostly around Maria and her family. Maria didn't actually do much in this episode. She just tagged along with Sarah Jane and the others. Yeah, she did investigate the school and chuck vinegar at the Slitheen, but it looked like it was part of a subplot about being afraid or something. Was that part of the story? Was this a hero's journey or something? But the only problem I had with it as a child is, if you were someone who did not watch Invasion of the Bane, even if you don't know Doctor Who at all, you wouldn't know who these characters are. You wouldn't know who Maria is, or who her family is, or who Luke is, or how did this happen? When did that happen? Is there something I've missed? Which might actually happen to some newcomers. So yeah, that was the real Series 1 opening story. Even if you didn't see Invasion of the Bane, this is actually a good story to start with. Okay, yeah, you would have to sit through some awkward, corny moments, but it does pay off. I guess what makes this episode stand out from Invasion of the Bane are the characters. Sure, the first one was an action-packed story, whilst this one was more of a way of introducing our characters of the show to the audience, and I think it works out well. Be sure to check it out and see for yourself.